The collapse of the Prince William Christmas ornament, dropping from a supposedly prestigious 40-ton price tag to a humiliating $1 clearance bin item, has become one of the funniest retail failures in recent memory. It is the kind of flop that doesn't need exaggeration because the price tags alone tell the entire comedy. Imagine launching a glass ornament with confidence, expecting fans to rush and buy it as though it were some royal treasure, only for the price to crash harder than the monarchy's public image in recent years. The fact that this decoration had to be reduced not once, not twice, but repeatedly until it reached the price of a packet of chewing gum shows just how little demand there truly was. If this ornament was meant to reflect Prince William's popularity, then the numbers are louder than any PR spin. People weren't buying it, weren't amused by it, and clearly weren't interested in hanging this little symbol of royal prestige on their Christmas trees. As the price fell from $40 to $10, customers still walked past it with the same energy as people avoiding a street survey. Even at $10, a price that usually tempts impulse buyers, the ornament still sat on the shelves like an unwanted relative at a holiday dinner. The marketing team probably hoped the discount would magically spark excitement, but instead it reminded everyone that you can repackage something as many times as you want, but if the product itself doesn't inspire buyers, the price slash only exposes the desperation behind the scenes. And this desperation was loud. The drop to $1 was not a promotion, it was a surrender. It was the final stage of retail humiliation, where the business quietly admits, we overestimated everything: the appeal, the demand, the relevance, and the market. There is something deeply comical about the fact that not even Christmas spirit could save this item. Christmas is the season when people buy all kinds of unnecessary, random, decorative nonsense. Yet somehow, even in a season where people buy reindeer socks, flashing earrings, tinsel hats, and glitter-covered pine cones, this Prince William ornament still couldn't find a home. It was rejected in a marketplace where literally everything sells. That alone speaks volumes. The ornament looked like a mixture of plastic royalty cosplay and a hurried art project done by someone who had never actually seen Prince William up close. Buyers probably looked at it and wondered whether the company was serious or trolling. And even as a joke item, people still didn't want it. By the time the one sticker arrived, everyone knew the business had entirely miscalculated their audience. They assumed the public would celebrate a royal-themed ornament, but the reality was a harsh and hilarious wake-up call. People simply don't care enough to spend money on a miniature bust of William dangling awkwardly from a tree branch. The whole product idea was flawed from the start, rooted in an outdated assumption that anything with a royal face automatically translates into profit. That might have worked decades ago, but not today. Today's consumers are sharper, more critical, and far less attached to the myth of royal glamour. Selling an ornament like this in 2025 is like trying to sell a flip phone in the age of smartphones, an embarrassing attempt to revive something nobody wants. The funniest part is the spin that brands usually attempt when stock sits unsold. They say things like limited edition, exclusive, or unique collector's item, hoping the vocabulary alone creates demand. Yet this ornament defied even those marketing tricks. No amount of glitter, gold paint, or royal branding could convince shoppers that this was worth the price. Even when it reached the same price range as a supermarket candy bar, buyers kept moving. The store probably had employees joking among themselves, betting on whether even the one clearance would work. The entire situation turned the ornament into a punchline within retail circles, a reminder that not every royal-themed product guarantees success. The drop from $40 to $1 is more than a discount. It is a timeline of embarrassment. It is a slow-motion fall from imagined prestige to undeniable reality. The message is loud. The public is not impressed. The business behind this product clearly believed they had something special on their hands, something that would sell out because of name recognition alone. But name recognition doesn't equal desirability. And the final result shows that they didn't study the market, didn't read the room, and didn't realize that public interest has shifted drastically. Instead of being a must-have decoration, The ornament became a clearance item faster than anyone expected. The irony is almost poetic. A royal ornament meant to symbolize status, tradition, and authority ended up symbolizing retail failure, poor marketing judgment, and the mismatch between royal branding and modern consumers. The price tag slash wasn't just a financial loss, it was a public display of disconnect. It revealed that the company expected people to emotionally connect with the product for no real reason. They assumed loyalty that wasn't there and projected importance that didn't translate beyond their own bubble. And when customers ignored the product entirely, reality crashed down like a poorly placed Christmas tree toppled by a cat. People buying Christmas decorations usually want something charming, nostalgic, beautiful, or at least funny in a cute way. But this ornament offered none of that. It wasn't beautiful, it wasn't sentimental, and it wasn't even amusing in a flattering way. It became unintentionally funny because of how awkward and stiff it looked. The expression was unconvincing, the paintwork looked rushed, and the entire design lacked warmth or creativity. The business behind it likely believed the royal uniform and glitter would compensate, but customers saw right through it. Instead of feeling festive, people probably felt second-hand embarrassment looking at it on display. It's also hilarious to imagine what the company's internal meetings must have been like. Someone pitched the idea, others approved it. Designers then created the prototype. Photo shoots were arranged, pricing was decided, and the product was launched with full confidence. Every step required multiple layers of approval. And yet, all those people still collectively misjudged the situation so spectacularly that the ornament dropped to $1 just to get rid of it. That means every single department overestimated its value. It's a multi-team failure disguised as a holiday decoration. Even more amusing is the PR attempt to pretend that out of stock at $1 is a victory. It is not. Selling out at $1 is not a win, it is a clearance purge. It means the company was willing to practically give it away just to empty the inventory. It means no one bought it at any meaningful price. It means the shelves needed to be cleared for something actually marketable. It is a sign of defeat dressed as a technicality. Anyone who celebrates that as success is kidding themselves. A business that truly understands its consumers wouldn't produce an item that becomes this kind of spectacle. They would analyze the current cultural climate, the shifting attitudes toward monarchy, and the rise of critical public sentiment. But this business behaved as if they were living in a bygone era where royal merchandise automatically sells. That outdated mindset cost them money and reputation. The ornament became a joke on social media, a symbol of how disconnected certain companies still are when it comes to public interest and consumer behavior. Instead of generating excitement, they generated memes. The fact that the product sat unsold until the very last stages of reduction proves that consumer loyalty cannot be forced or assumed. If anything, it backfired, showing that the public is increasingly uninterested in royal-themed novelty items unless they hold genuine sentimental value. And this ornament, designed with no emotion, no charm, and no originality, had none. It was a bland, expressionless figure, covered in artificial glitter that failed to capture anything meaningful. Meanwhile, the company expected customers to open their wallets simply because it featured a royal title. The arrogance behind that assumption is almost as funny as the resulting failure. When a product flops this dramatically, it becomes a retail case study. Businesses will look at it as a perfect example of what happens when branding relies on old assumptions rather than current market trends. It highlights how important it is for companies to adapt, innovate, and understand what consumers actually want. But this business didn't adapt. They clung to the fantasy that royal merchandise still carries automatic desirability. The one price tag exposed the truth. It doesn't. The most satisfying part of this entire disaster is that it unfolded publicly. Anyone who saw the original $40 price tag probably laughed when they later saw the $10 markdown, and then fully cackled when the one clearance hit. It was a slow, delicious unraveling that revealed just how badly the brand misjudged everything. And now, instead of being a prestigious decoration, the ornament will be remembered as a punchline, a shiny reminder that not everything associated with royalty carries value. Even the final out-of-stock note comes across as comedic rather than triumphant. A product that arrives at $1 and then disappears is not impressive, it is predictable. Of course it's sold at $1, anything will. But the real story lies in everything that happened before the clearance stage. The refusal of customers to buy it at every other price point is where the truth lives. That is the part the business cannot hide, spin, or rewrite. It is the permanent record of a miscalculation so large that it became entertainment for the public. In the end, this flop is not just a retail failure, it is a cultural moment. It shows shifting attitudes, consumer independence, and the hilarious consequences of companies trying to push products based on outdated reputations. The Prince William ornament didn't just fail to sell, it exposed the gap between the brand's imagination and the real world. And that gap is wide, embarrassing, and absolutely hilarious. The one price tag is the perfect final chapter, a tiny, shiny monument to a Christmas flop that no amount of PR will ever cover up.